Hey guys, today we're looking at basic geometry for the 101 exam review. Now these problems, they usually give you some cylindrical item with either some material being pumped in or pumped out. So in these problems, the very first thing you should do is actually draw out the shape. So in this case, it's going to be a cylinder. And the problem states a swimming pool is being drained for maintenance. The pool is shaped like a cylinder with a diameter of 7 meters and a depth of 8 meters. If the water is pumped out of the pool at 24 meters cubed per hour, how many hours does it take to empty the pool? Use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest hour. So now that we've drawn out our cylinder, what we can do is label it. So we know the height is 8 meters. And we know the diameter is 7 meters. After we get this labeled, the second thing we want to do is make sure we have the radius. That's probably the most occurring problem with these, is people put in the diameter when they should be putting in the radius. So make sure you solve for the radius before you do anything. So we know diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. And the diameter is 7, and now we can solve for r. So r has to equal 3.5 meters. So now, a cylinder is just a circle with height. So if we find this area for the circle, we can just multiply it by the height and then we'll have the volume. So what we do is we know area equals pi r squared. It's a very useful equation. You should make sure you have that memorized. So area equals pi times 3.5 squared, and that'll give us 12.25 pi, and that's meters cubed. I'm just going to leave the pi like that because I don't want to really work with weird decimals right now, and I'll just multiply it at the end. So now that we have area, we can multiply it by the height to find the volume. So our height is 8. We just solve for our area, which is 12.25 pi, and we get our volume. So 8 times 12.25, that's 98 pi, and that equals volume, and it's meters cubed. Now that we have our volume, we can just divide that by the rate, and then we'll have the time that it takes to drain the pool. So we have V over R equals time. So our volume is 98 pi over 24, that's our rate, and then equals time. So this will give us, when we plug it into the calculator, we'll get 12.82 hours is equal to the time. And for these problems, you always want to round up. So if we're rounding to the nearest hour, we have 13 hours, and that's our time. So even if that was 12.1, we're still going to round up to 13 hours, because if we only have it draining for 12 hours, we're still going to have some minuscule amount of water left over, and we don't want that. So 13 hours is our minimum time. And that's how you do basic geometry for the Algebra 101 exam.